Hey, it's Alex from Vulture Culture, and this is the Kawai K3. Just a beautiful, gorgeous sound. And what I did was, if you guys remember from the stream we did with the K1, there was a patch called OB-Brass. So I pulled that up here so you guys can hear the K1's Oberheim brass sound. And then we have the real Oberheim Matrix 6 from 1985. And this too, we've pulled up a Oberheim brass sound. So I wanted to show kind of a compare this like really venerated Oberheim brass sound. And that's what Oberheim's known for, is brass sounds, versus the K3. And you guys tell me which one you think sounds better. So in the chat, let me know if you prefer the Oberheim or if you prefer the K3. So why don't we give this a little shot here. So or I mean, it's actually pretty incredible, isn't it? The comparison there. I was surprised at how close I was able to get these two synths to sound. And I didn't even, the only thing I changed, it was actually a preset in the Oberheim and a preset number 13 in the K3 here. And let's see what everybody's saying real quick. Yeah, kicking off with a little Kate Bush. Now do Wonderwall. No, I don't want to start being a real YouTuber. The brass is super fluffy is a good way to say it. Yes, the little bit deeper from the Oberheim. Yeah, people totally sleep on Kawai and Akai when it comes to the synth market. Jackie says Oberheim has a more organic sound. I'd be more inclined to mix it with proper instrumental elements, but the K3 is just silky and hot. Yeah, so I only changed the cutoff frequency on the Oberheim because it was actually a little duller. So
that is one seriously perverted bitch.
Yo, follow Scum Comedy, I believe, just tipped. Who is that? Yes. Oh my God, my brother Gaetano, thank you very much. For those of you guys who don't know, Gaetano runs Scum Comedy, which is sort of the sister organization to Scum Night over here on YouTube, and he's been a great friend, a loyal supporter for a long time, so thank you very much, my friend, and thank you for the donation. So, if we play the same note, let me turn the cutoff up a bit on this. Let's see. Let me see if I bring in a little bit more of the second oscillator. You'll hear that this one gets chorusier. Probably bringing in even a little bit more. They're pretty close. This one's got a faster attack than this one. This one's amp envelopes fading in slower. And so it's a good example real quick before we even hear any other sounds that it's very easy to edit on this. Let's see what's going on. How's it going, my brother Gaetano? Welcome. I like the Oberheim, but I'd be much more likely to use the K3's brass sound. Check out the Arturia Micropeak. Freak, it has a SEM filter. Yes, the Micro Freak, I've heard some demos on it, and it sounds insane. For sure. Probably the best way to spend any money on new synths right now in the market. But this is a good example. I kind of complained about the OB Magic X. It's not the optimal way to program the Matrix 6. The K3, when I first saw it, I was like, damn it. So it's got that same sort of DX7 layout where there's no knobs and faders. And then it's got a big knob that kind of reminds me of the Alpha Juno dial. It's the same thing. And I was just like, oh God, this is going to be fucking terrible, because that's kind of what happened in the 80s. I believe this synth came out in 87. They skimped, they cut corners, and they went with membrane buttons as a way to program. But what's interesting is I found this to be very easy. So it's always hard for me to know exactly what you guys can see on stream, but these 9 buttons are the oscillator. These are for the 9 are for the filter. These 6 are for the VCA. These 6 are for the LFO. These 6 are for touch sensitivity. And then we've got keyboard tracking, and then 12 master buttons. And what's fascinating about this is it's actually very easy to edit. So for instance, we want to slow down the attack. So I just press the attack button on that, and I can increase that. Oh, wow, we're on a completely different program now. Wait a second. I didn't mean to do that. Let's turn that down. Oh, I know what I did. So let's go back to program 13, and then we can go to parameter and go to 20, and now... All right, it's a little too slow. It's actually crazy that they're really, really close. They're not far off. Those buttons are all in the shadow. Yeah, let's see if you guys can see them now. So 9 oscillator buttons, 9 filter buttons. And I love the fact that they kept the shape. This button right here is blank. But they kept it so it's 9, 9, 6, 6, and 6. And then 3 for the touch control. And it just makes it very easy to edit anything you want. So if I want to go to the cutoff of the filter, that's parameter 10, and then this just becomes... We can control that. And if we wanted to go to the balance of the oscillator and bring that down, we could get it to be a little bit more Oberheim, like a little less chorusy. I don't know. I think it sounds pretty good. I think it sounds pretty damn good. So we'll go through some of the actual parameters, I'm sorry, the programs on this, and give you guys a taste of what this sounds like. Program 1 is the most incredible analog piano sound I've ever heard from an analog synth. So we're going to start there, and we'll go to program 1. It's as simple as that. Just turn parameter off, hit internal, and then press the 1 button, and you guys can hear what we're working with. So let's start with this. You can start to hear some of that famous breakup that you get from the digital oscillators in this range. But this is pretty crazy.
That is one seriously perverted bitch.
Yo, let's see who sent me a donation. Synthesize me, daddy. Tips $6.66. Thank you very much, whoever you are out there. I think I have a feeling. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for supporting the stream. And once again, shout outs to the 3,000 subscribers. You guys are the ones who make that possible. So what's going on in this synth that's different than the Oberheim and the K1 is this is using digital oscillators, but everything else is analog, including the chorus, which the Oberheim doesn't have. So real quick, what's happening is instead of starting with a simple analog wave like a sawtooth, a square, a sine, a triangle, we can start with more complex waves. So if we want to edit this real quick here, what we could do is go to parameter and hit the chorus button here, and then we can increase the chorus so you guys can hear what it sounds like. And it's got several different programs. So this is, we'll start with 0. This is no chorus. Now, chorus 1. Pretty subtle. A little bit more, a little more. Starting to get warbly, almost like an old record. Now this is very honky-tonk piano. Program 5.
That is one seriously perverted bitch.
Oh my god, you guys are too good. Oh, Gaetano tipped $6.67. Thank you very much, my brother. I appreciate you so much. You guys are too much tonight, and you are wonderful. Thank you, my friend. All right, let's try value 6. It's very subtle, but that one's probably my favorite so far. Ooh, this one's very stereo. And I don't know if you guys can hear. I can hear it more in my left headphone than my right, but actually that famous analog chorus hiss. That is just gorgeous. All right, so it's got those 7 programs. And another thing we could do, so I've turned that off. Let's go back to oscillator balance. And we can change that from the one wave, but we actually have another wave in here, an octave up. And we can...
That is one seriously perverted bitch.
What we got now? Oh, wait. So, Big Synth Energy just tipped $6.69, and the comment said, "Eat your heart out, Gaetano." So, thank you guys very much. So you can hear that we can either have all the way to the left, we have wave 1. All the way to the right, we have wave 2. Or we can blend the two. For a stacked piano sound. That's really, really cool. But for now, I'm going to just use the one wave so we can go through some of the waves here. Remember, we've heard only 2 patches so far. And what I'm going to do is go to the filter cutoff and open it all the way up. And let's see if there's anything else. I'll open the sustain all the way too. So now we're actually hearing the waveform that we're starting with. And you can hear this is a lot more complex. You can hear, just like on the K1, by the way, the really dirty, grimy oscillator sound as you get down there. That's when these digital oscillators couldn't handle very much back then, is the low frequencies. That sound is very grating, so I won't play it a lot for you. But the point of this is that we can get much more complicated, interesting sounds and then filter them with the analog filter from the Prophet 5, the PPG Wave, and actually get those digital oscillators to sound quite good. But
A seemingly innocent school.
Whoa.
She was into some pretty kinky shit.
Let's see. So, Synth Dungeon Simp just tipped, what was that? $30. Oh my god, thank you so much for your generosity. You guys are crazy awesome. And yeah, it's just great. Was there a comment on that? Yes, it says 3K, 3K, 3K. I live for that shit. Thank you very much, whoever you are out there. You are awesome. And I really appreciate everything that you guys do for this channel. You make it possible for me to do this every week. So, pretty horrifically bright, brittle digital sound. But let's go ahead and check out some of the waves. So we're going to start with... We can actually turn the wave off. I don't know if you guys can see here these numbers that well, but they're very easy to see compared to some of the backlit screens that I have from other 80s synths. So that's the first wave, is a sort of piano wave. So now we have this really cool... It's almost like a square wave, but with some noise. Really cool. We got 32 different waves. We'll go through them kind of quick. That's like a very nasally sawtooth. You can hear how brittle that sounds down there. Wave 4. Ooh, it's like a vocal 4-man. So... It's actually very beautiful. And again, I'm going to hit you with these waves for all the synth nerds out there. We're going to hit them, just raw dog them without any filter. But we'll actually make some pretty sounds. None of these waves will sound that pretty without the analog filter, which is kind of the point. So like, maybe I'll do it right now. So it sounds okay, but if we go back to the filter cutoff and we bring it down, and we add a little, let's see, is there an envelope for the VCF? Let's increase that. And then we'll bring the sustain all the way down. Bring the cutoff down. And then increase a little bit of decay to that. And there's also a high-pass filter in here, just like on a Roland Juno, where we can actually bring up, but it seems like it's continuous, which was better than what you get on a Juno. And actually, I think it sounds a little bit better with a little of the low end rolled off. So let's try again, so... Oh, no, it sounds better with that low end on those low chords down here. So let's try that with the low end, so. Sounds really good, actually. And I hope that shows how fast it is to create your own sounds with this. So I know it's not the world's greatest sound, but... And this isn't a bad time for me to point out, too, that just like in the last video, I have a little bit of Valhalla delay on the synths, but it's down 20 decibels compared to the synths. So it's there. With any big, spacious delay or reverb sound, you'll notice it, but it's actually surprisingly not that big of a character to the synth. So if I was to open up the Decay all the way here, add some release, and to the VCA add a lot of release. There we go. That's going to make it much more beautiful. Let's increase the release. Oh, okay. I need a doggo shirt that says fuck racism. I like that a lot. All right, so let's see. Oh, there's merch. Yes, yes, yes. Gaetano reminds me and Jackie to sell out, so if you haven't yet, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Aha! What happened on the phone? Whoa, 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 whoa. There we go. Need a doggo shirt that it says fuck racism. Love that. Gwen gave a pretty good example of what Decay is. So I'm going to, and again, this is just super easy to program. It's so much easier to program than the Alpha Juno from which it's probably based. So I'll turn this release down a bit so it's kind of more natural. And I'll show you exactly what Decay does. So if we turn the envelope all the way up and the filter all the way down, well, maybe not that far down. So what I'm trying to do is synthesizing a plucked string sound. And Decay here is controlling just how fast the filter closes down. So with the Decay all the way up, you can hear that it takes a long time for the high frequencies to get filtered out of the sound. So takes a long time. Now, as I change the Decay value, you'll hear that the filter is closing a lot faster, so you get a more pizzicato type sound. You can take it very far. But somewhere around the first few values, and you get this sort of plucked, muted, palm muted guitar sound. Kind of like chicken picking. Something like that, right? So hopefully that explains Decay a little bit. Let's go ahead and stop getting too deep into the weeds with the oscillators here real quick and go back to just playing some sounds. So back to our original piano sound. And again, I would like to, well, we're back in the weeds, but it's a Scum night stream. What do you expect? We're going to, listen to how beautiful this sounds. Whoopsie daisy. Listen how beautiful this sounds. And if we just go and change the cutoff of the filter, it gets really ugly fast, really bright. But because it's decaying so quickly, we get this beautiful piano sound. So let's go ahead and move on. I want to show you guys some more of the coolest sounds I've ever heard in analog synths. So this is the second patch here. Kind of like a warbly piano sound. They kind of organized them by this, by like category in a way. That's patch 3. Let's go into 4. Yes. Okay. So this is crazy. And this is the power of starting with digital oscillators, but then using an analog filter on them. This is one of the greatest Rhodes piano sounds I've ever heard. You can hear how there's this really high little tine sound at the top end. And this is like unaccomplishable with a normal analog synth, because the thing about analog synths is that sawtooth, square, all of that stuff, those waves are actually very warm to start with, and then you're removing high-end content from it. So you're always kind of end up with like a fuzzy, warm, glowy, magical type sound, but you're not going to get anything that has this sort of bright attack that you get. Just really, really cool. Let's try a couple more. I think there's a couple more Rhodes-like sounds. Almost a little more organ-y. Really cool. Let's move on to pattern 6. Almost like a split between piano and Rhodes. Really, really insane. Again, it's just like when I first heard some of these sounds and I was just blown away. I'm like, this can't be so cheap. You know, I love the Oberheim Matrix, incredible sounding synth. I'm saying Rhodes, R-H-O-D-E-S. So Fender actually made electric pianos, which are different than electronic pianos in the... They go way back there, but they're famous for their sort of sound, electric piano sound. But they're not digital or even analog. They actually are picked up by, they're more like electric guitars in the fact that they have pickups in them. And they have just a very different sound from a traditional piano. I don't know if anybody in the chat could give my mother a good example of what an electric piano sound, a song that uses one. So moving on to program 7. Here we go, analog strings. So let's get involved here. Wow. Just so fucking thick. Bring that down a little. Rhodes is an awful spelling. All right, so moving on from some analog strings here. By the way, guys, I forgot to mention this. First off, I need some alcohol. So once again, cheers to all of you guys out there. Go ahead and make some noise in the chat if you're excited about 3,000 subscribers too. You guys are 10 out of 10, the best fucking friends a guy could have. So cheers to you guys. First, oh my god, getting beer on the vintage synths. That's beautiful, man. Oof. I know some of you synth motherfuckers out there are like, this motherfucker's just sloshing beer all over his synths. Yeah, I am. They're from the 80s. Trust me, there's much worse on them back then. So there was a few things you guys voted for in the Scum Night group. I kind of skipped past that earlier. And you'll be getting some of them tonight, not just the Kawai K3 playthrough, although Synths was the second most popular thing that you guys voted on for me to do to celebrate. But you guys will, in fact, get a special treat at the end of the stream, anybody who's out there hanging around with us. So yeah, we're going to be getting that happening. So let's check out some more analog strings. How do you play that one, Jackie? Yeah, what is it? Fun little piece of history for us. Really thick, really chorusy type sound here. Cheers to you guys and cheers to 3K. It's really been awesome. Yes, it was fun to bring that back, having you in the stream here. Let's move on to the 10th preset. We've barely covered this synth, guys. Beautiful, woodwindy, sort of reed type sound. I don't know, what would you guys describe that sound as? Jackie Lee is an amazing keyboardist. In fact, if you search on this channel for The Killing Horizon, we performed live. For the first time in 11 years, we brought back a set that we did at the very first Sunset Music Festival in 09 or 08, somewhere in there, Jackie. I don't remember. Oh, hey Anna, welcome to the stream. Oh my god, Pinot Noir. Oh yeah, milk and Oreos. Daddy loves some Oreos, man. Oh yeah. 09, yeah. So, let's see. Program 10. That was that. Program 11. Wow, right. So this is that just Oberheim sound. Let's go ahead and actually I think it was program 13 is the one that I matched. And I should be able to go into the parameters and change the balance here. Bring the envelope up a bit. Tighten up the decay. Let's bring this down a little bit now. See, this is why I don't like using the OB Magics compared to that. If I want to change the oscillator mix, I have to find where I'm at here. Well, we've really kind of lost the sound. This sounds so good, though. Just really great brassy sorts of sounds. Oh my god. Is there a bit of history, my favorite part that I missed involving the K3? Well, I can go over a couple of things. First off, cheers to all y'all. We're going to do a lot of cheers tonight. So, real quick, let's compare the OB brass sound. I meant to do this earlier. So remember when we did the K3 stream? I was like, that's the Oberheim sound. And when I pulled up this patch called OB Brass on the K1, I was like, are you kidding me? Check out how bad this sounds. Like, I don't even want to say bad, but just not even close to an Oberheim. So much noise. It's actually a very cool kind of like hardstyle sound. But not warm and beautiful at all. So I've made this filter close too quickly. Too much decay, Mom. Sounds like sandpaper. Yeah, it's pretty gritty. And I'm going to pull up the first patch that we opened up this with over here. And just as a comparison to the difference between, just real quick, between analog synths and digital synths, let's listen to this. One of my favorite patches off the K1 is this really great vocal pad. It's just incredible that these came out a year apart from each other and how much of a different sound that analog filter makes. Because essentially the oscillators are very similar, but this doesn't have a filter, not even a digital filter. And this, of course, has that. So let's talk a little bit about the history. So Kawai really is sort of like the redheaded stepchild of the Japanese synthesizer industry. They were always playing catch up to the bigger companies. They weren't quite as far behind as Casio, though. They really took the cake for making the least highly regarded synths from the 80s, even though nowadays people actually quite like them. The Casio sound, though, is that terrible video game soundtrack and not the good kind type sound to them. And Kawai was always trying to make really cool synths, but they were trying to come in just under what the big manufacturers were. So if you guys ever look up a Roland JX8P, this looks exactly like a Roland JX8P. It's like a clone in terms of the design of the synth, but the sound is nothing like a JX3P or an 8P, sorry. It's just this beautiful, warm thing. And what makes this synth unique out of, I think, all of the K series, the K1, 3, 4, 5, and the K5000S, which I actually have over there. We'll get there one day. I still haven't done a stream on it, but is the analog filter from the Prophets and the PPG Wave and a bunch of other synths. So this synth is a really unique piece of history and also just sounds incredible. I mean, just a gorgeous, absolutely just spectacular synth from the 80s. I can't tell anyone enough how much I love this thing, and it's so easy to program. It's basically, for me, if I will, it's ticking all the boxes. Yeah, that vocal pad's awesome. I don't know if you caught the stream. Very good. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, Nico made a homemade ginger beer with wild cocoa plums as a yeast starter. Where do you get wild cocoa plums? Are those like weird berries you can find in the woods around here? Yeah, I want to do an absinthe night with you guys on the stream sometime. That would be great. So anyways, let's, you can hear a couple of these different sounds. So with the K1, we can get these much more realistic sounding. Whereas, on these analog synths, you're not going to get that. But when you can do something like... and combine the two, woof, now we start getting some really cool, you can start getting different blends of sounds. So yeah, of course. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask me. I actually really like it when you guys ask me questions because it's very easy for me to get kind of lost down a rabbit hole of talking about something interesting about a synth that I think is interesting. But I've been fucking around with synths for a minute. So there's plenty of times like when you asked, what is decay? It's something that I should probably explain every stream, but it's hard to sort of split the difference of talking enough about a synth and how it sounds, as well as for people who know about synths to talk about it in such a way as that they get the interesting bits, but also to keep it accessible enough for the people who know a little bit less about synths. I think if you guys have been watching my synth streams, the Scum nights with synthesizers, you guys have probably learned a lot more than you realize. So yeah, you guys just let me know if there's anything. Got him on the SW trail with all the vultures. Fuck yeah. Love a vulture. Yeah, so, and that's actually why I had these two on, Vulture Mom, is because I wanted to prove a point that you don't have to spend over $1,000 on a vintage synthesizer. You can actually spend a very reasonable amount on a vintage synthesizer and get that incredible 80s sound that, in my opinion, is not capturable with modern synths most of the time. And do it, though, without, this is cheaper than buying a modern Poly. Let me just talk about that for a second. Even if you don't give a fuck about vintage, right? If you can get one of these things for sub $600, there aren't 61 key analog synths for sub $600 right now. I think even the cheapest one, the Behringer DeepMind 12, is probably closer to $700. And of course, that has like more effects and stuff. But it doesn't have the authenticity that this does. It's not going to give you, if you're into that Stranger Things thing, the synthwave thing,
seriously
the 80s.
perverted bitch.
Yo! Let's see. 3,000 synth subscriber. Thank you very much for your $3 donation. I appreciate you. You are awesome. So my point is this synth is actually a better way to get into analog synthesis, in my opinion. And it's going to give you the magic of those vintage synth tones. That was the thing that changed my mind about analog synths, is actually when I got the Korg DW8000. I don't know if you can see it over here. First time I heard that filter, I was like, whoa. I haven't ever heard anything like that before. And that's the thing that I think really makes these unique and beautiful and different than just buying modern synths. Certain synths, like this Oberheim Matrix 12, or Matrix 6, not a Matrix 12, is a lot cheaper than, say, an Oberheim OB-Xa, but every synth is, except for the Moog 1. So anyways, here, let me get back onto the chat. Cheers, you guys. I really appreciate it. Let's do another little quiz. I've almost threw this beer all over the synth. Cheers to you guys, and cheers to 3K. I'm having a great time. How's everybody else doing? You guys enjoying this? The Moog 1 sucks. I'm glad to know you're still here, Synthpunk. Yeah. You know, it's one thing to charge like that much money for a synth. That's one thing. But I just remember when it was coming out and everybody was like, it's so buggy. Like, it's so jacked. I was like, oh my God. If you really make a synth that's like the best synth ever, and you want to charge that much for it, I mean, go fuck yourself. But also, I respect your ballsack size. But when it comes to, you know, it better be fucking perfect, though. So anyways, let's move on. I think I skipped over patch 12 here. So let's check this out. Should be another variant on the brass sound. So let's check patches 11, 12, and 13 back to back real quick. So this is 11. One's very bright. I have a track that I'm working on. Let's see if I can remember how to play it. I don't think that's how you play it. Let's see. There we go. Really cool. Let's move on. Check out some more patches here. Let's see. You owned it. You had a Moog 1. Okay, so tell me a little bit about it, Synthpunk. I'd love to hear your opinion. Gaetano, I love you. Hey, we're playing the K3 to celebrate 3K. I can't believe I didn't realize that. That is so clever, and I cannot take any ownership over that at all. I totally didn't realize we're playing the K3 to celebrate 3K. That is fucking hilarious. It's a bloated piece of digital shit. God, I appreciate your lack of filter. Juan, welcome to the stream. Yes, the K3 sounds incredible. I did not do that on purpose, guys. I'm really fucking stupid. Don't ever forget that. Yeah, no, I definitely did not. I'm glad that everybody else in the stream thought that was clever except for me. That's okay. Let's check out real quick here. This is a string pad from the K1. Let's try to match the volumes. And then let's go to patch select and pull up, I think there's some strings here. And then we'll just open up the filter a bit to try to match it. You can hear there's a little bit of a high octave there. Thank Odin, you're pretty. Oh my god. I can't believe either. It's crazy, isn't it? So now you can hear, we've got 3 string patches. This is an expensive, premium name analog synth. I still think very reasonable for the fact that you get the Oberheim sound for sub $2,000. That's really great. But then the Kawai K3, like I said, I've now bought 2 of these for $400 or less. And the Kawai K1 is a digital synth, also very reasonable. So let's just play a little bit here. Okay, that's a thing. Let's check this out. Something very beautiful going on with the pulse width modulation in that one, for sure. I don't know, which of the 3 do you guys prefer? So you guys tell me what you think is the best and the worst. Mom's on a different level. So one more time, I'm going to just play something kind of simple on each one, so you guys can tell me what you prefer sound-wise. In this case, well, you guys tell me what you think first, and then I'll give you my opinion here. Let's see if I can pull the chat back up over here. Which of the few you prefer? I think it's pretty incredible that you can get all of them to sound pretty close. Let's see. Bottom, the K1. You prefer the K1 synth punk. Interesting. K3 over K1, way over the Oberheim. Wow, the hot take. The first one. So you guys actually all prefer the digital K1. That's fascinating. Yeah, well, and I think that goes to why I think the K1 is the, the thumbnail for the video says best budget and vintage synth. I do think that would be the K1. I'm sorry, the K3 in my opinion, because you get those analog filters, you get those sounds you cannot get with digital synths from the 80s. But the K1 does sound really good, doesn't it? We've got a Rhodes sound, so we could compare the K1 Rhodes. Let's go back. So let's see. You can hear that almost always the K3 is going to have a warmer sound. And honestly, the Oberheim can't even make a convincing Robe sound because it doesn't have those digital oscillators. So it's interesting, the difference here. The K1 has its purpose. It holds its own. It's not going to do the Oberheim sound. Yeah, the K1's definitely, I would say, the least well, it's hard to say. There were some really cool sounds in the K1. I don't know which I would say is the least versatile. I will say the Oberheim, there's something about the way that you can make certain sounds on it that's just, you know, really... It is beautiful. I mean, it's hard to argue with that sound. Anyways, let's move on. We got some organ sounds. I'm not the biggest organ sound guy. We're going to church. Let's see, what is it? Let's see if the other one was better. Let's see about this one. 17 and 18 sound almost the same except with different choruses. That's one organ. This is 18. It's like the spatial left to right is different on it, but very, very similar. All right, moving along to patch number 19. Ooh, what do I call those? Clavinet. So this is an example, too, of how the K3 can sometimes split the difference between something like an analog powerhouse like the Oberheim and something kind of brittle like the K1. So let's see if I can find real quick. Interesting. I'm trying to see if I can find a... I don't know if I'll be able to. That's an interesting piano sound. I was hoping to find a clavichord sound. Anyway, clavinet sound. I know there's one in here. Let's go ahead and find it. Clavinet, here we are. You can hear what a huge difference there is. The fact that we can get these this to be so bright because we have more complicated waves than the Oberheim's capable of, I think is also, again, speaks to its versatility. Yo, Steve Jard, welcome to the stream. Hi, I remember the K1, 2, and 3. Wasn't it the demo track samples from the K1 that the UK band LFO Leeds Warehouse mixed used in their 1990 rave tune? K3 might be on my list. Time to move my SY35 on. SY35 is the Yamaha SY35, right? It's sort of their post-DX line, synthesis line, which I actually like. I think it actually has a similar to the K1 wave station type sound. But welcome to the stream, Steve. Is the K2, did that ever exist? As far as I'm aware, there's a K1, 3, 4, and 5, and a K5000, but not a 2. But I could be wrong. See you in a second. What about a clavicle? See you in a second, Autumn. So anyways, let's jump right along to program 20. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is interesting. It's a lead patch. It's a mono patch, but it sort of sounds like a honky-tonk piano, or maybe even something like a... I think I saw one in here. Stratocaster. Let's see. It's pretty close. It's still a pretty incredible sound for an analog synth. Program 21. Let's try this one. Those are very nice complementary sounds. Let's go ahead and... Those two go very nicely together, I think. Let's go ahead and move on to patch 22. Haven't been paying attention to the time at all. We're good. So we kind of really like these guitar sounds. To me, something like that, going back, so... Let's try and move. Just curious. Alright, let's move along. That is kind of like the, that Stratocaster. I'm just interested because these two synths have very similar oscillator starting points, which is digital oscillators, and you know, from the same company 1 year apart. It's amazing how different they sound, but I was curious if I could get close with some of them. I think with the strings and the brass, or this, not the brass, but with the strings. Wow, this is interesting. It really tracks kind of wonky. Moving right along to 25. Another kind of like piano sound. Let's see if I think there was a piano in here. Piano 1. Interesting, close. Let's go ahead and keep going. Whoa. Very kind of throaty, vocally type sound. Oh god, it's like when they picked a whole bunch of strings at once in a horror film. Yeah, it's definitely very like kind of horror movie cluster sound. So we're kind of into the synth lead territory. Very cool. Ooh. What do you call this? Type of sound. Wow, that's beautiful. It has a name. I can't remember the name. That is awesome. Steel drum sounds like a marimba. Marimba, yeah, I think marimba is what I'm looking for here. Wow, it's like hollow but very vocal kind of. Yeah, it's just. I swear to fucking God, this synth is so good. And again, why don't we go in here and be a little nerd and we'll change the parameter here and we'll add a little chorus to it. What do we say? We liked chorus 6, right? Oh God, I really, really love that patch. That's just crazy. Yeah, so if you're into vintage synths that sound, you know, warm and gooey and analog and majestic, I just can't recommend this guy enough. I think it's just so cool. Vibraphone, yeah, it's definitely a little bit, but definitely it's kind of like... just this very beautiful sort of, you know, you just see how if you play these like little fast, like little clusters of notes, it could just be these beautiful textures. It's just really, really cool. So anyways, let's get rid of that. And we were on program 28. So let's move on to 29. Whoa. Wow. The power. I don't even know how they're doing that. That is so cool. And a Kawai 1, 2. Oh, I see. That is Big Alligator. Yeah, this you know, Jackie and I did a record together, and you know, it was very aggressive, very industrial, modern, very brittle, digital type sounds. And this one, though, this one could have been in Dominion Screams. Wow, just, and also want to point out too, like, you can get complicated sounds out of this thing. which are harder to get on other analog synths. So I guess I'm trying to make a point here that if you are interested in vintage synths, which probably means you're into vintage analog synths, this is probably the best one you can get for the money, in my opinion. Hopefully the prices of these don't go up too much after this video. Wow, that's annoying. That's a very, like, in-your-face... it was way too loud, brittle. Okay, so I'm not playing it right. So if I play it like the other pads, it's not going to sound right. But if you do leads, you get that sort of Blade Runner blues type sound. Let's see here if I play some. I'll do it on the... Let's pull up a different sound. Let's do... yeah. Yeah, so I know I said that sound was really annoying at first. It's actually gorgeous. It's just needed to play it right and not just kind of play what I usually do over the top of that. Vincent Price on the pipe organ in the Haunted Mansion. Yes. Rick Deckard's Chasing Down Zora. Man, you've got the references, Pinto. Yes, that's definitely that type of sound. Cowboy Bebop, too. Sure, they definitely were inspired by that type of sound. Aquatic Borealis, welcome to the stream. Like the shadowy lighting and the curtain in the background. With the music, it sounds very David Lynch-esque. Yes, I'm sure. What is it? Let's see if I can remember how to play it. So, no, what am I doing? Oh, I need a better string sound, so it'd be... very Twin Peaksy type sound, for sure. If you're a fan of David Lynch, you're welcome here in this stream, for sure. Moving on to program 31, sorry. It's like an ethereal toy box type sound. It's really beautiful. There's so many beautiful... I'm sorry, I probably have said the word beautiful so many times. I need to alcoholate my system. So cheers, guys, to that. I wonder why they programmed this. I mean, it's an example of the high-pass filter, so again, if I, maybe I'll pull up a different patch here. Let's pull up the liquid patch, and we'll play some more 7th chords. Very thin. I don't really know what I'd use this for. Maybe an intro of a song, right? You know, you could do kind of like a cool little thing like that, like. Like, and then do it with some big ass synths underneath. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it's definitely something. Yeah. K2 was an upright piano. There's lots of digital or 90s digitals here in the UK for cheap money. Currently using 2X Korg 3s, X3s, X5Ds. The Wave State, still exploring it. I did a stream on Wave State Native, and it was really cool. I still am partial to the good old Wave Station over there. It's from personal experience. Well, I'm happy to hear that, Aquatic Borealis. Andreas, welcome to the stream. Yes, the Oberheim sounds beautiful, and we're hearing some interesting patches, but throughout the stream, we've heard some really great sounds that, in my opinion, hit the Oberheim pretty square on, if not maybe a little bit better, for substantially cheaper. So I'm a really big fan of this synth. Wavetables are great for long evolving pads. I agree, Ryan. Welcome to the stream. Nothing better than the Wave Station. Anyways, this patch is not my favorite on this synth. Let's move on to 33. Wow. Little interesting. Let's see if I can pull up something interesting here. Cool. Not also my favorite thing. Kind of reminds me too much of the Rubber soundtrack, and I'm starting to get freaked the fuck out. Let's see, someone else said something. I seem to have lost the chat here. Oh no. Let me just get the fucking chat back. Here we go. Bring it in. There we go. Moving on to patch 34. Ooh. This is emotional. Evocative. Wow, that is so cinematic. Like, I am going to use that next time I'm doing some sort of cinematic project that I'm scoring. Way too cool. Way too cool. Really beautiful and gorgeous. Would there ever be a time when you have two different synths like this and bounce between them for highs and lows or other sound combos? Absolutely, Ryan. So that's why there's so many in this fucking room, is because you don't always, let's see, know what kind of sound you want to get. So that's one type of sound. So if we go, Yeah, so that would be the reason there's so many, is because they all have a different sonic color, texture, feeling to it. Sometimes you want that sort of breathy, brittle, some would say terrible, but types of sounds, and sometimes you want something else, that's the beauty of it. So let's see here, what are we talking about? I picture dolphins cutting through the bioluminescence in the sea. Oh my god, emissions of light by living organisms and marine life. Well, that's a compliment if I've ever seen one. The K2 is a wavetable, isn't it? The K2 was a piano. In fact, Vulture Mom, didn't you have a Kawai K2? I think. Done a lot of night diving. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. What is it? What's past the Tannhauser gates, Pinto? Anyways, moving on to patch 35. Oh, little toy box. Again, displaying that the flexibility of these digital oscillators into the same filter that the Prophet 5 had, the SSM, I think it's 2044, gives you the flexibility of so much more than you get with your traditional analog synth. I really think hybrid synths are where it's at, if you guys can't tell. Oh, kind of more marimba-y type thing. It kind of reminds me of like a mist sort of texture. Kind of get some wave state native type sounds here. Interesting. Well, that one's really going. It's definitely getting its monk vowels on. Meant K3. So, the K3 is a hybrid synthesizer. It says it's a digital wave memory synthesizer, but what it effectively is the same type of architecture that you would have from a Korg DW8000, which I have right here. Same architecture as the Ensoniq SQ80, John Carpenter's favorite synth. It's the same architecture as the PPG Wave, and in fact has the same filter as the PPG Wave, and those go for about $20,000. So the Kawai K3 features digital wavetable oscillators into an analog SSM 2044, I believe. I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong. It's in the description of the video. Analog filter, an analog amplifier, analog LFO, I believe, and then also analog chorus. So it gives you a lot. It really gives you a lot that the rest of these synths don't have. It's really incredible. Yeah. We had a baby grand. The Kawai 2 was an upright. Missed that piano. Me too. We have some strings. Let's move along. Oh, God. Gotta love a good disco tom. Very weird. Not even the world's best disco tom. Ooh, we've got like this sort of fifth sort of sound. Kind of get some oriental vibes in there. Let's move on to program 40. One thing I've noticed that I wasn't really paying attention to, but this thing's missing an arpeggiator, so if that matters to you, then maybe this isn't the synth for you, but... I quite like not using arpeggiators, but I know a lot of people love them, so... Really cool sound that would be great with an arpeggiator. Let's move along to 41 here. Kind of a weird honky-tonk piano type sound. Yes, here we go. Give it to me. Fuck me up. Love, 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 love that sound so much. I don't know if any of you guys played Killer Instinct growing up. No arpeggiator, deal breaker. An arpeggiator makes arpeggios. So going back a couple of patches here, let's see, 41. So if I play a chord, C minor, with a short sound, it's kind of boring. So what I could do is play an arpeggio, C, E flat, and then G. And what an arpeggiator does is... Does this thing have an arpeggiator on it? Does this thing have an arpeggiator on it? None of these synths have arpeggiators. That's crazy. That's very weird, because I want to say, like, virtually every other synth in this room does. That's weird that they're all, like, clustered over here. But arpeggiators often do sounds like this, like... those types of things. And they are a lot of fun. When I had Gwen over here, we were playing around with the Polysix arpeggiator. We had a lot of fun with that. That pad sounds like my Alpha Juno, also a very underrated analog synth. Does this thing have a software editor? That is a good question I do not know the answer to. But here's the thing. One of the biggest things I was talking about with this synth is how easy it is to edit sounds. So, I don't know. We were on patch 42, right? Let's go ahead and keep going here. Wow, we got some weird, really complex stuff going on there. We'll go back and edit some stuff, Andreas, because I want to show one of the things that makes this synth awesome is that I do not like any synth I like. I almost always end up getting like a controller programmer for. I've got two that you can see right now, I believe, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a lot in this room, and this synth is probably the best example of a synthesizer with membrane buttons that I do not think I would ever need a programmer for, because it's so easy to edit things. So let's go ahead and find something real simple sort of sound. And we could just go to parameter cutoff. It's got an Alpha Juno like dial here, but it is so much easier to program than that. If I want to make it like a pluck, I could just bring the sustain down, bring the envelope all the way up, bring the cutoff kind of in the middle, bring the decay. Bring the decay down. Bring the resonance up. It is so fucking fast to get these things. Hopefully that's a quick example of how you can get a very different sound very quickly without needing any. So I couldn't go faster really with an editor or a programmer. Like this thing programs itself. It's so nice. Hey, Jeffrey, welcome to the stream. This is the sound I've been waiting for all night. Beautiful. DW8000 meets PPG. Exactly. So it's like a DW8000. It has, I believe, more waveforms. Yeah, it's got double the waveforms of a DW8000, which those routinely sell for closer to $1,000, so approximately double this thing. It's got twice as many waveforms as a DW8000, and it's got the same filter as a PPG Wave, which is insanity that you can get a PPG Wave filter synth for so cheap. So if you haven't got one of these, this is the thing to get if that's the type of stuff you want. Let me catch back up at the chat here. Have you tried playing a Summit? That's a pretty nice modern hybrid. I have not. I would love to play a Summit. The good folks over at Spectrasonics recommended that I got a Summit to control Omnisphere. I think that modern synths are great. For me, almost all of the things that I can get with modern synths, I would do quicker in software. I'm for the first decade or more, 15 years of doing synthesis, I did it all in the box. And so for me, there's something fun about getting these vintage synths because they take you far away from that in the box sound immediately. They don't, kind of leave you feeling that sort of question mark in your head of like, is it authentic or whatever. They just immediately give you something that has that rich, warm character that's, different than what you could get, especially 10 years ago in the box. Nowadays, things are different. There's a lot of really great software out there. And I would say the Novation Summit's probably one of the smartest layouts that's been done. And it's just the fact that you got Noisia doing the wavetables for your synth, that alone sold me. Like, that's incredible. And I think they go for about like 1,700 used, which is good. But I would like to point out that I think I spent about the cost of a Novation Summit on these 3 synths and the programmer all together. All of these are the same cost more or less, as maybe even cheaper than a new Summit. So, keep that in mind. There's definitely a perception that vintage synths are fucking expensive, and that's because things like the Jupiter 8, CS80, Prophet 5, all the things that the Oberheim OB-Xa, all of the, 7 or 8 household name synths are extremely expensive. But once you get into this interesting territory of middle tier synths, this guy right here is so undervalued in the market. So if you guys don't have one and this is a sound you like, I would get them now before they skyrocket. In my opinion, anything that has a PPG Wave Prophet 5 analog filter from the 80s, they're not making any more of them. They're only going up in value, and you can get them really cheap right now. So anyways, yeah. Hey, still live? Just got back from the library. How's it going, Annie? I've got something very beautiful coming your way. Your shadow is masking what you're doing. Yes, that's one horrible thing about the way I've got the stream set up right now. Sorry. We don't have the lighting 100% figured out. Yo, let's see what we got here. Yo, Jeffrey, thank you so much for the $20 tip. That was really nice of you. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much to everybody who has supported this stream over the past few years. It's been awesome to get to 3,000 subscribers this week. And it's because of you guys and because of your generosity that enables me to be able to take off work and actually do this. And yeah, it's just awesome. I really appreciate you guys. I wanted to say too, real quick, while I got some people here, the best thing you can do for the channel, actually, I've recently learned, is not even liking and subscribing. That's awesome. The best thing you can do is the first thing in the description is a link to all of my synth videos. The best thing you can do is actually just watch those. Because if you guys watch the synth videos, that moves them up in the algorithm. And that playlist, if that thing can get a lot of plays, that's huge for getting the channel out to more people. Because every time you watch one of those videos or click on that playlist, YouTube's like, I'm gonna suggest that video to someone else. And so that's a really helpful thing. If you guys ever want to have some background music on while you're working, go ahead and throw that synth playlist on. Anyways, enough selling out. I always just like doing that. How's it going, everybody? I appreciate Aquatic Borealis. Yeah, fall asleep to him. I've had several people come up to me at work and be like, hey, just want to say I apologize, but I actually fall asleep to your videos. And I'm like, no, that's great. I love it. You know, people are like, you've got a calming voice. And you, yo, Anonymous just tipped $4.20. Oh my God. Was there a comment on that? Oh, there was. Anonymous just tipped $4.20, and it said, the comment was, cute pussy. I'm glad you like my pussy. On that note, let's check out a few more sounds. So, was this...
Smoke weed every day.
Yo! The smoke weed every day tips coming in. Hockey! Pocky, thank you very much for your $4.20 donation. I appreciate you guys. Thank you all for your incredible generosity. You guys are the best. I don't think any other stream is got so many awesome people in it. Oh, wow. A lot of love chat in here. That's pretty cool. That was happening. The spam just kicked down the door. Yeah. Just like the, what is it? The Kool-Aid man. If only I knew where to go to date as an adult. Miranda has gotten very used to the sound of your voice when Nikki and I aren't home. That's probably why she falls asleep whenever I show up at your place. All right, moving on to sound 45. Ow! Right in the fuckhole. I feel like I'm about to go on an adventure.
That is one seriously perverted bitch.
Yo! Let's see. We don't date, we mate. Devin, welcome to the stream, you hot sex fiend. How are you doing? So excited to get to hang out with you soon, but not tomorrow, unfortunately, because I've got things and I had to cancel on you last minute. I really apologize for that. You are a treasure, sir. How are you doing? Let me know how it's been. And by the way, guys, if you're here and you don't post in the chat, I don't even know you're here. So let me know if you guys are here. Pretty decent flute sound. Not super convincing compared to maybe a flute. If I can find a flute on the pan flute, this will probably be interesting. Yeah, we can get some much more. Nice, noisy, grainy, digital type sounds. I love it very much. You're welcome. Hey, I really appreciate that, Jeffrey. Not just the money, but also the comment. That's very kind of you. Doing this and you guys being here makes it so that I am not just, you know, screaming into the void. Moving on to patch number 46. Gotta turn the volume down. Wow. Wow, this is really cool. What do you call the kind of music that uses this? I mean, other than like old house music, you know, like these types of... Really cool sound. I don't know what to describe it as. Donkey Kong, yeah. Yo, that thunder blasted, Annie. Oh my god, it was like someone, like the hammer of Thor slapped the front door. It was crazy. Being detected in a stealth video game, yes. All right, moving along to patch 47. Ooh. All right, so I'm having trouble identifying what's going on here. So the LFO is got to be a square shape, and it's affecting one of the... So let's go ahead and see what it's affecting. So we can see the shape, I guess 4. If I change the value off of 4, it won't be a square wave anymore, so it'll be a different kind of shape. All right, so it's affecting the pitch. Ooh, we get a nice random sample and hold here. So what's happening is it's modulating the pitch of the oscillator up and down an octave every time that LFO completes. Really cool patch. It's like the racing level of a video game, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I bet that one thunder slap was like, we all heard it in Palm Beach County. All right, anyways, moving back off of the parameters, let's go ahead and keep moving along to patch 48. Oh, here we go, some more disco toms. That's a better disco tom than the other one. You can slap the shit out of someone with this. That's actually pretty tough. I'm surprised. I wasn't expecting that. Crossover of the century. Moving on to, we've only got 3 patches left, guys. Gotta have one of these weird helicopter sounds. To demonstrate that, I suppose. Patch 50. Wow, that's bright. That's so funny because it's kind of like ending with the Oberheim, what is it? The OB-Xa, like so.
Wild ass.
Thanks for subscribing, Craig. Kind of similar sounds to end on, I suppose. And then, do we have... No, we don't. That was our last patch. Kind of a nice, thin, anemic, Proteus-type horn sound. I think this would be another one that would be good as a lead and not so much as a pad. It's very clear and beautiful. Let's see if I can play some decent chords here. No, I want to play down here. Let's go ahead and adjust this cutoff here. Nice kind of rainy pad sound. We can control the amp attack here. We need some release on this badly. Anyway, it's just a kind of fun jam. And again, to show that the K3 actually has more flexibility than the Oberheim when it comes to creating sounds that aren't just big and warm and lush, right? I mean, Oberheim, it's going to all sound big and warm and lush, but sometimes you need something that on its own doesn't sound that's like a very annoying sound. But when you need it to cut through the mix and you've got a big chord, yeah, I think this right here is a very nice combo we got going on right now. Let's see. I think it sounds like PBSO flying over the trailer park. Yeah, I was hearing some shit earlier too, Chad. I always think of Apocalypse Now when I hear helicopter sounds. Yeah, for sure, definitely. I can see even Stephen Key using that synth drum in one of his download songs. I'm not familiar. Is there a method to the madness of how the synth dungeon is organized? Good question. So no, kind of. So what do we have? We've got, so all of the controllers that use all of the synths that use a retroactive controller are on this stand. I've got a bunch of digital synths in the Polysix over there. I've kind of got a digital, like the JD800 stand, and then I've got couple of Korgs, and the two Insonics are next to each other. And then we've got two of the three Kawais. And yeah, there's no real method to the madness other than like trying to, it occurred to me, like, if you put all of the Rolands on one stand, for instance, right, you're kind of going to only have one sound. So it's kind of nice when you've got like a digital synth, so you can do, something kind of, something, I don't know, fucking shit. Different types of tonal palettes at your fingertips instead of always being kind of stuck in a certain range. You get a lot more than if I had all analogs in a row, right, Ryan? Because then it would be sort of like locked into a certain thing. So 7 Key is the guy from Skinny Puppy. Ah, yeah, fuck yeah. Did Anna put up the curtains? I heart. So Anna has done so much to make this house more beautiful, but these curtains are mine. All right, guys. So it's 11. I usually try to end the streams around here. Let's drink a little bit more alcohol, and then I'm going to close it out with something special tonight, something that you guys voted for. But the biggest thing I just want to say is it's just been an incredible journey to 3K. I've made so many friends, and it's become such an incredible part of my life. This really is like a sensational thing. I don't think there's any other YouTuber out there with 3,000 subscribers that has so many people that are so loyal and interesting and charismatic and beautiful that show up to their streams every week, except for Synth Punk because he's got like 700 something subscribers. He's tried to get everybody to unsubscribe from his channel. But yeah, it's just been like insane the way this channel has been, the way it's changed my life, the way everything's been. I mean, it's like a dream come true, and it's still very, very small in the YouTube world, but I can see the potential for growth and how this could just get to be something that we always do. And that was always what I wanted when we started doing Wednesdays every week. Was we were in the quarantine and it was like, you know, we're doing Wednesdays because, you know, whatever. But when things started opening back up and we all started going back to work, I was like, I really don't want to stop. I don't want to lose this. You know, there's something special here, getting the opportunity to experience all of this with you guys. And so for that reason, I guess I'm just saying thank you, because it's you guys watching every week that's made it possible. It's just been awesome. It's been fucking beautiful. And I've used that word way too many times this stream, but yeah, it's just true. You guys have changed my life. And so I say cheers to you guys. Thank you for being part of the Scum family. And that's it, man. Fuck. Oh, so good. This beer's a great way to celebrate what we've done together. So, for those of you who don't know, who aren't part of the Scum Night group, someone could throw that in there. It's the Facebook group where I interact with you guys. We got about 500 members. And what it is basically, I ask you guys questions sometimes about what kind of content you'd like to see next. And I just fucking love the shit out of you guys. You guys are too great. Won't lie, the movie nights saved me, and I get why you don't do them anymore. Well, I would still do them every week, Annie, but YouTube changed its rules, and I think that what we've got going on right now is kind of better. Lovechat.xyz, thank you for hanging out in the chat. We've all need to get laid. Your stream on the K3 was a revelation. Just might have to get one now. Thank you. Hey, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you, and I wanted to, generally, some of these synths are cool to play because they're, you know, they're pieces of history. There's a reason they have a legendary status to them. But my favorite thing are the sort of underdog synths that people don't know about, because you can get really great shit from the 80s that isn't like, you know, like a lot of people are familiar with like Cassia tone stuff where it's like really tacky sounding, and they assume that's what like cheap synths from the 80s sound like. But there's a lot of really reasonable gear out there that you can get that, to me, K3, one of my favorite synths I have in the room. K1, one of my favorite synths. I love the Matrix too. I love other synths like the Polysix and the JD800. But I don't know. I mean, K3, I prefer myself right now. I mean, my opinion could change. We'll probably do another video on the DW8000 soonish. Right now, this is my favorite hybrid. And that's kind of crazy because the Ensoniq SQ80 is insane. But this one's just so immediate and gorgeous immediately. And it's that filter. You can't fuck with that filter. That Prophet 5 PPG Wave filter. It's so good. Do the JP8000 next. Well, I actually do have a JP8000 right over there. Unfortunately, I need to get the screen fixed on it. So one of the reasons I haven't done a video on it is because of that. So I need to get that taken care of. It's just, you know, it's always priority 6 when I'm doing something in the synth room. But I'll get that done, especially if you would like to see it, Andreas. I mean, you know, for me, I like doing things that people want to see. I don't know. I'm fucking getting drunk. Yeah. Trust me, get rid of the DW8000. Wow. I like the DW8000 too. It's definitely sort of nostalgic for me because it was the first vintage synth I got. Of the two, I think the K3 actually sounds better. But the DW8000 filter is thick and deep, and there's definitely a place for it in here. Scum Night Group, or Scum of the Earth, last seen in Cincinnati. Rock on. Yeah, the DW8000, the Matrix covers so much ground. That is for sure. Like, the Matrix is so fucking underrated, and I feel bad saying that because it's one of the more expensive synths I have in the room, but I don't think people realize, like, all of the other Oberheim synths are like 10 plus grand. So the fact that you can get one of these often for around $1,500 right now, that's like, there's a reason those synths are 10 grand, and this gives you the sound, but at a fraction of the cost. So it's really worth it, I think. Love thick. Daddy loves thick. Use a graphic EQ with the DW8000. That's what I did. Yeah, I think so. I think the problem with it is the filter is just so thick that for things, and there's something about bass that's kind of weird on it that I'm not into, but there's certain like resonanced pads on the DW8000 that I think are close to unbeatable. So yeah, I mean, it's still something that I'm probably going to be holding on to for a while. The programmability is just huge. I mean, the DW8000 is definitely a cool synth, and I have the DW8P programmer from Retroactive, so that really opens it up. Jeff has a difference of opinion with synth punk. The Obi was the one you got from the Snake Venom guy, right? That is correct. The Coral Snake Venom guy. That guy was a fucking incredibly just. And that's one of my favorite things about vintage synths. You don't meet boring people who are into vintage synths. They're all fucking interesting. And Ray Hunter, if you search Coberman Ray Hunter or Coberman Ray on YouTube, he's got 500,000 subscribers, and his day job is milking cobras. And yeah, he's just a really fascinating guy, and he was very kind to sell me this Oberheim for well less than what it's worth, especially with the custom walnut sides. So words are getting interesting now. DW8000 is better than the Hydrasynth. So I haven't had my fingers on the Hydrasynth, but people tell me that the keybed is really not great, which my DW8000's keybed's not amazing either. But if you're going to spend that money on a Poly Aftertouch synth, you'd kind of want the keybed to be decent. And for me, again, like the sort of, I'm sure it sounds awesome, but whenever I hear demos of the Hydra, it sort of reminds me of the Access Virus, like that sort of 2000s virtual analog VST type sound. And you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I use that type of sound for like, you know, sort of like ripping bass lines and stuff. But, you know, when it comes to this type of thing, I'm not as interested in it. Yeah. So I'm going to dodge that controversy, and I'm going to finish tonight out with what you guys voted for in the Scum Night group. If you haven't yet, please join. It's a private group, but I will approve you if you've been watching this video. And you guys just wanted me to stare deeply into the camera. So here we go. Go ahead and get this bullshit going. Can't believe you guys voted for this, but here we go.
That is one seriously perverted bitch. That That is one seriously perverted bitch. 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 Seriously perverted bitch. That is one seriously perverted bitch. That is one seriously perverted bitch.